New School.
So my first question is kind of coming from an entrepreneur, but a non-sales background entrepreneur starting a company, which I see a lot.
Yeah.
What should that entrepreneur do, starting a business, do to build a sales organization within his company sooner rather than later?
Okay. Love that question. It feeds right into Noob School. But first of all, they can be effective salespeople without being a traditional, salesperson. And think about like Elon Musk, for example. He's not your traditional salesperson, but he's a great salesperson, right?
Yep.
He learned how to do it. You better believe he studied, books, tapes, videos, consultants. Someone showed him like Cialdini's 7 Rules of Persuasion, and he knows all that stuff because he's just so good at being a salesperson. One thing is they can learn it, whether it's through those methods or through a consultant like me or somebody who can help them get their pitch down, because that's who the people want to hear from, is the person who's like leading the company. But to build a sales team, again, I think you need help. You need to get someone who's done it before to say, this is how you do it, let me help you do it. Because otherwise, the person, as smart as they might be, they'll be guessing at it.
Yep. Been there.
You've been there?
Been there.
Was I correct on both counts?
I think you were correct on both counts.
Okay, all right.
So, we sell technology.
Mm-hmm.
Do salespeople need to understand at a low level the technology they're selling, or can they sell successfully without having that deep knowledge?
In general, I think they need to understand the basics. I think if they preface their level of skill early on in the conversation, they can get away with not being an expert. If you say, I'm only here to find out if this is a good fit to talk to Andy or not, then you can get away with that. I've actually, it works both ways. If the person doesn't know a thing, the people they're talking to might just nod their head and roll their eyes and just say, move along. But if they know too much and they start talking about the bits and the bytes and the features, the person might roll their eyes in a different way.
Right.
So I think the person needs to understand a little bit about technology, kind of admit to the person where they are. More importantly, that they understand how it can help that company achieve things.
What are the key habits that would make a salesperson successful versus not being successful?
Yeah. Well, the first habit is being in control of themselves, that they're, effectively mentally and physically capable. So they exercise, they have just generally good habits in life, because the people I've seen that, and I'm not talking about necessarily triathletes, just kind of in control of themselves. The people that aren't in control, they might sell something here or there, but they're not going to be good long-term players. So that's number one. It's actually chapter 2 in my book. Let's start with that. But I found one common habit they all have that do well over a long time is they start early. They get a lot of their work done before the workday even begins. They get their prospecting emails, they get their emails caught up, they do some learning, they might even get their exercise done. So when the normal day starts, then they're just way ahead of the game.
In starting a new job as a salesperson, what should those first 90 days look like? And I'm thinking of this both from the business owner hiring, but also what should the salesperson expect success after 90 days looks like? What activities should they have been working on?
I'll just give you some basic things to check off the list. One is you've got to learn the systems you'll be using. It's going to be a different CRM system, kind of learn the habits of the company. I would want to shadow 1 or 2 of the very best salespeople, hang out with them for a couple of days, see what they do every day. I would want to go spend time with some of your most happy customers and find out what we've done for them to help them be effective. And then, of course, a lot of practice phone calls. So practice phone calls, maybe even practice presentations to get ready for when you'll be selling.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Is that good?
I think that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Andy.